Hey guys, Zach here. Welcome back to another live mixing session, or I should say the next part to this live mixing session. Today we're going to be working on adding space to the mix. So I use Space Designer in Logic just because it lets me pick whatever room I want, and you'll see that in here. So let's jump right in. Mix going on, but it's just super dry, and especially for this genre of music, you need it ambient, reverby, and well, when this was recorded like 2 years ago, worship music, church music was pretty ambient, but I feel like even today it's gotten more that way to where it's like they're relying heavily on those room mics and stuff. But unfortunately, we did not have room mics for this recording. That would have been the one thing I would have changed about this day, but this day was crazy. I mean, it was a wedding. Everything was going on. I was trying to set up the recording and, remember my drum parts and all that stuff. So we did not have room mics. So we're just going to have to add the space to this mix with my favorite reverb plugin, Space Designer. So let's jump right into that. I like to start with either the toms or the snare as the first instrument to be sent to this room that we're going to create. So we'll just start with the snare. We're going to send it there. We're going to call it the room. And go get the Space Designer, go mono to stereo. Really don't have to touch a lot with it. I was just talking about this with someone on MixChecks recently. He said, I was like, yeah, I have no idea how to use the Space Designer. Okay, well, it looks like there's a bunch of knobs going on, but really the only one you need to worry about is just make sure that it's all the way wet, make sure it's on a bus, and then just tweak the pre-delay. Oh, and pick your room. Obviously, that's what it's there for, but just tweak this pre-delay. I normally, bump it up a little bit because I don't want it to be completely washing my reverb out. My instruments out, and then we'll just go pick our impulse response. For this song, I'm just gonna start with the Bricasti one, see what's going on here. Large red room. Corn room. Large chamber. Kick chamber. Sunset chamber. Ooh, here we go. Got some churches. North, south, east, west. So I'm in Texas. We'll go with a south church. Not that it matters, but I needed something to make the choice with, so we'll go with that. Okay, we're all good there. And we'll just see what this reverb sounds like. Snare go. I don't know. That almost sounds too fake. Yeah. It's a nice reverb, but see what the other churches sound like. We'll go. Where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Go west. Go out to Bethel. Go to Reading. Redding, California, here we come. Okay. All right. Okay, we're going to roll with that for now. Another thing I like to do is EQ the reverb. Don't want any low-end rumble getting into my reverb. Don't want any high-end craziness happening. Do this more mellow. And don't want any of that muddiness getting in. Just this more kind of mid-rangey reverb sound. Really helps clean up a mix. All right, next thing to send, we'll do some toms. This section, the toms are meant to be huge, so let's see what happens. Doesn't even sound like anything's happening. Hold up. All right, maybe we need a little bit of overhead help happening here. All right, here we go. Okay. Normally I don't send the kick to the room, especially on a like normal, straightforward rock track, but I think with this genre and the way that this genre is moving towards today, we are going to send a little bit more kick than normal to the room. All right, I can tell you right now this reverb's not going to work. It's way too big. Let's get out of the Bricasti and just go to a normal, here we go, chapel and churches. How the heck is a small church 2.6 seconds? All right. Church room, church tower, church entrance, mosque. Jeez, okay. Let's see what the small church sounds like. Still sounds like a pretty darn big church to me. But it at least sounds more real than that other one. It was like, this actually sounds like a room. That's what this genre sounds like nowadays. You want it to sound like it's in that room. So I'm actually liking this one. And we're going to keep it. And once we add, let's add the synth next, because you can crank the reverb send for the synth because it's already meant to be super ambient. Next, guitars. Heck, I would normally never ever do bass to a reverb send, but I know I keep saying this over and over again, but the music I've been listening to today from worship, it's crazy ambient, and I'm just thinking that I might actually have to send a little bit of that bass there. Let's see. Well, let's do the guitars first. Okay, real quick. The snare, I think we're going to have to tamp that down just a little bit more. I'm going to add another compressor, and then I'm also going to check real quick. Before I do that, I want to make sure that the snare is in phase with the overheads. Okay, so what we're looking for right now is the waveform. In phase means when this goes up, the overheads would go up. And so right now, actually, it's looking like, see this? Snare's going up, overheads are going down. That's an issue. So what we're going to do is you just nudge it over until they match up. So let's go like this. See if that fixes it. Just making sure that some of these floor toms aren't getting into my snare. Okay, you can just hear how that kind of just added a little bit of low end back into the snare that was missing because of the overheads. And so now that we have our space in the mix, I think it's going to be time to move on to the vocals.